Electronic Arts has been bought for $55 billion and is going private. As a BioWare fan, I am not surprised. As a gamer, I am a little worried. Hello crows and non-crows alike, my name is Joe Mac, otherwise known as Support Crow, and today, we're talking about EA. Again, Electronic Arts was recently confirmed to be bought by the Saudi Arabia Public Investment Fund, Affinity Partners, and Silver Lake Partners. Let's dive into some of the concerns that have been brought up, and then we can dive into whether or not this is doom and gloom. And I apologize in advance because I normally try to keep politics outside of the channel, but the nature of the groups involved is very political indeed, so fair warning in advance. Let's talk about some of the concerns that have been brought up, and then we can dive into whether or not this is truly doom and gloom. First off, when it comes to Electronic Arts, the immediate concern is layoffs, studio shutdowns, and project cancellations. EA has to make up the $55 billion, and the best immediate way to do that is cost savings, or adjusting our methods to promote efficiency, or some other corpo lingo that basically means a lot of people are going to lose their job. Oddly enough, you know who isn't losing their job? Andrew Wilson shall remain as CEO of Electronic Arts after the acquisition. Not that him losing his job would mean anything, he'll just glide down on a golden parachute. As for who or what will get the axe, I don't think you have to be a private detective to see that BioWare is on the chopping block. Before we get too involved in that though, let's talk about the partners involved in this deal, because there are a number of additional concerns that have been raised. When it comes to the Saudi Arabia Public Investment Fund, or PIF if you want to be lazy about it, there is concern about what PIF might do with our data. While Saudi Arabia does have a lot of investment and experience tied with gaming, there are those that believe its acquisition of Electronic Arts and all of its franchises and all of the devices those franchises use may be crossing over the line. And you can't entirely blame people, especially Americans, for feeling that way. We spent the last 3 years being told that TikTok needs to be banned because China might do scary things with our data. Now Saudi Arabia is gaining more digital territory over the American media, and suddenly that's okay? There is also concern about censorship, which Saudi Arabia isn't exactly shy about. Examples range from banned topics in comedy festivals to allegedly murdering a United States journalist. On top of this, there is Affinity Partners, which was founded by Jared Kushner, aka President Trump's son-in-law. So there is some concern about the influence that might have over gaming. And last but not least, you have Silver Lake Partners, who just recently invested $400 million into building infrastructure for artificial intelligence, which Andrew Wilson is on the record for saying is the core of our business. It is easy to look at all of this and immediately assume the worst, and many people have already taken to the airwaves to say as much. There are also some people that are more optimistic. The Saudi investors do have a lot of money, and having that new leadership may potentially improve the quality of games coming out of EA. Who this new leadership is actually comprised of is hard to say. As I said, Andrew Wilson is still the active CEO, and the corpos of EA will likely coordinate the projects. Although, instead of answering to a group of shareholders, they're answering to these private investors. A lot of criticism about EA's quality places the blame on the EA publisher from both gamers and developers alike. So, without this change in middlemen, we're just going to have to take their word that things will improve. There's also a concern about inclusivity. Are the personal views and opinions on inclusion from the investors going to influence what is in games, or how those games are made and who makes them? I perfectly understand where this is coming from, but I think when it comes to these investment types, cold hard profit wins out. For example, a massive portion of the Sims community are those who either are a part of or an ally to the LGBTQ community. There's a very strong left liberal presence there. So here's the question. If you invested $55 billion into a company and want them to make that money back, are you going to shut down The Sims, a franchise that is actively generating profit, just because it caters to a target audience that you disagree with? No, that's stupid. The capitalist investor cares not for ideology or politics. They care about the profit. As long as The Sims keeps turning a profit, The Sims community has nothing to worry about. The people that should be worried are the franchises and studios and games that are not making a profit. And here is where we get into BioWare. Since the last chapter closed on Dragon Age Inquisition, with its Trespasser DLC, the story of BioWare has been one of turmoil, strife, and more on point, significant profit loss. Mass Effect Andromeda cost around $100 million and players received a buggy reception when the game launched. Instead of improving the game and finishing its Quarian Arc DLC, BioWare abandoned Andromeda to create Anthem, which cost close to $200 million. Anthem would turn out to be a disappointment for the vast majority of those who played the game, and BioWare would eventually abandon this game also. BioWare then goes through the gauntlet that was Dragon Age the Veilguard, which cost somewhere between $150 and $250 million. That is a rough estimate, by the way. EA has not revealed the true cost of Veilguard. BioWare itself is valued somewhere between $200 and $250 million. As I said before, EA is going to look for ways to make back that $55 billion. And a studio that has lost more in the past decade than what it's actually valued for is ripe for easy picking. We don't know how much it's costing EA to fund Mass Effect 5 or the Mass Effect TV show that is in early workings over at Amazon. However, given what we know from past BioWare games, and given they want something on par with Amazon's Fallout, we can make an educated guess that the total for both combined is close to $300 to $400 million. So why hasn't EA gone ahead and shut them down? Personally, I think it's because they may be trying to get someone to buy the studio and the Mass Effect and Dragon Age IP. In doing so, they could earn more in profit from the deal, which would help close that $55 billion gap. This may be evident by the continued downsizing of the studio. After Veilguard, the Mass Effect team narrowed down to just 100 developers. And now, if what I'm hearing is true, it's more like 60 to 80 people. Historically, EA never bothered to put in this much effort into a studio to shut it down. It's always been, you're done, have a nice life, don't let the door hit you on the way out. I get the impression that EA may be wrapping up BioWare and its IP into a nice little package with a price tag. Or they could shut it down tomorrow. Who knows? Honestly, I think I might just be done with EA. I stopped playing The Sims years ago, so the only thing holding me to EA has been BioWare. I don't play Battlefield or Madden or any of that. I don't play Plants vs. Zombies or any of their mobile games. And I've been very careful not to get attached to anything with the EA logo. Not in an angsty, boycott, fight the power kind of way, but because I know that the investment of time I put into their products isn't going to match what I pay for them. Nowadays, when I look at a title that's been published by EA, I wonder if there's an indie game I could try or something in my backlog I could play instead. Granted, if Mass Effect 5 turns out to be the best thing ever, great. I'll probably give it a go. If they decide to remaster the Dragon Ages, I will definitely do that. I would definitely play those games. But there's plenty of other games like that coming out that I will likely be more interested in going forward. We got Exodus, we got Osiris Reborn, we got The Outer Worlds 2 coming out at the end of this month. We got Clockwork Revolution, we got this mystery dark fantasy game from Republic Games that I still have my eye on. I haven't forgotten about you bastards, I am keeping my eye on you. Anyway, all of which features action, adventure, create a character, role-playing with companions, so we're not lacking in alternatives here. I would have liked Dragon Age to have ended better, but it got an ending, which is more than what many others could say. I hope you enjoyed the video and thank you for watching. Please let me know down in the comments what your thoughts are on all of this. On EA being bought out, on the core corpo team of EA still being around, how you feel about this, are you concerned, are you optimistic, how do you feel about BioWare and its future, or probably lack thereof? Would you rather see it shut down or bought by someone else? Let me know, I want to know what you crows think. Ultimately, it is what it is. It could turn out being a great thing or it could turn out being a bummer. We will know when we know. Until then though, be safe, be well, be kind. Bye-bye.